Shalom, and welcome to Psychology of the Parsha for the week of Parshat Pinchas. Now this week, as we read Pinchas, and typically in a normal year when we read Pinchas, we are in the beginning of what we call the 3-week period. What is this 3-week period? This 3-week period begins on the 17th of Tammuz, which this year was on Thursday, and it culminates with Tish'a B'Av, the 9th of Av, which is the saddest day on the Jewish calendar, the anniversary of the destruction of both temples. The 17th of Tammuz marks the anniversary of when Moses came down from the mountain and witnessed the golden calf, and as the Jews were worshiping it and dancing around it, and he threw down the tablets and they broke. Many, many years later, another substantial break happened, and that is when Jerusalem was under siege from the enemies, and they could not compromise those walls. But on the 17th of Tammuz, by heavenly decree, they were able to breach the walls, and that began the 3-week period in which destruction, pillaging, killing, as they made their way all the way up to the Temple Mount, and it culminated with the destruction, the burning down of the temple. And then again, during the second temple period, the same, very similarly, this is what took place. Now the sages tell us in the Talmud, why were the Bet HaMikdash destroyed? Why did God allow, not only allow, but in a sense, triggered, He made it happen? Why is it that Hashem had ordered the destruction of His holy homes, of His holy temples, the first and the second? Well, the sages tell us that the first one is because the Jews did not properly respect the Torah. But the second one, the second temple, that was a non-issue. Jews were greatly studious and involved in Torah education and involved in Torah ideals. So what was missing? What was their shortcoming? Why did they deserve such a heavy blow, which we're still reeling from? Remember, the almost 2,000 years since then, we're still in the diaspora, we're still exiled. And we've suffered throughout the worst and most horrendous things that even the mind cannot imagine, cannot wrap itself around. The pogroms, the Inquisition, the Holocaust. What did they do? What was so bad? And the answer is, the sages tell us that sinat chinam, baseless hatred, was rampant amongst the Jews. Indeed, even though they were very scholarly, they were involved in Torah scholarship, many of them were very pious, but the rift amongst them and the baseless hate, for no reason, the jealousy, the competition, the lack of brotherly love, that took away all merit from them. And that brought upon the destruction of the temple. You know, I just saw an interesting story today. A guy comes in holding his motorcycle helmet under his arm to an upholstery shop, and he points to his beautiful, top of the line ride out there outside the store, and he says, "Sir, do you see the seat? How much would it cost to upholster that seat?" You see, it's all shredded, it's ripped. Guy looks and he says, approximately about 150 to 200 bucks max. And suddenly the guy screamed out and he says, 150? 200 bucks? Hey! So the guy said, what? What happened? It's too expensive? Let me explain to you why it cost that. He goes, no. It's not expensive at all. And that's my problem. He says, the other day, I was showing my bike off, and I went with a couple of friends. We went to have a beer. And as we're sitting there near the sidewalk, and our bikes are lined up there, each one boasting his own glamour. A couple of young kids came by, called them mischiefs, and I'm watching, and suddenly, before we realized what's going on, they had these pocket knives and they're shredding the seats of our bikes. And I realized they're shredding mine. We jumped up on instinct and we started to pursue them. And we ran after them as a group, and then we broke up. There were 3 of them and there were 3 of us. And as I was gaining up on the guy, that mischievous kid that did what he did, my anger was building up. I wasn't thinking. And as I got closer to him, close enough, I took the helmet that was in my hand and I went, boom! And I hit him on the head. That's when his life and my life ended as it was. You see, he ended up in the hospital. He was unconscious. I ended up in handcuffs. Next thing I know, I'm in jail cell. And I was hoping for news that this kid would come to life and everything would be back over. But both of us are condemned to a very sad and miserable life. You see, I'm out on bail. He is never going to be getting anything further than sitting in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And I will most probably spend the rest of my life in jail. And you think about it, all for $150 to $200. Listen to the story. Baseless hate. It was chinam, it was for free, it was without even a reason, not even a price, not even $150, not even $200. And for that we lost the holy temple? The sages tell us, one in whose life the Bet HaMikdash was not rebuilt, the holy temple was not yet rebuilt, he should consider it. It's considered as if it was destroyed in his days. It's not that it was destroyed way back then and just hasn't yet been rebuilt. It's constantly being destroyed. Why is it constantly being destroyed? By our baseless hate. We need to come together. Doesn't matter, we have differences. We can agree to disagree, but we need to start to love each other. Just like they hated each other for no reason, we need to love each other for no reason. That is the ultimate antidote to eliminating this illness, this problem, and then we will certainly merit to the rebuilding of the Holy Temple speedily in our days.